Alright, you guys, so I was asked to explain pretty much everything that's on this rack. And I guess I'll try to go through it one by one. Top part is the Furman power conditioner. So pretty much just about everything's plugged into it. But I'll explain why here in a minute. Then Onkyo, that's pretty much just the processor. I don't use the onboard amplifier. Only use just the pre-outs of it. Now, I got this, I believe, I don't know if I bought it refurbished or used, but when it showed up to the house, it was pretty much brand freaking new. I bought the thing for $450, and then now you have to pay taxes here from Florida to New Jersey. So, just keep an eye out. Open box deals are definitely one of my biggest things. I like getting those. This is a Behringer DCX 2496. This is pretty much the processor for my left, center, and right speakers. Does the crossover, the EQing. So if you want to EQ the speakers flat, pretty much that's what you want to do anyway, or try to EQ them flat as much as possible. Do that before you do the calibration on the receiver. Then down there, I have 3 of the CX302s from QSE. And that takes care of my left, my center, and my right. And then just below that, it's a 8-channel amplifier that's responsible for running all surround speakers and 4 Atmos ceilings, Atmos speakers. They're not here yet. Still kind of up in the air on what I want to use. And then down just below that is my Behringer Annex 6000D. And this was another open box deal that I got. This one was, I think I paid $400 for it. So it was a pretty badass deal. Each channel is taking care of an 18-inch subwoofer. I like getting the digital versions because you can do separate delay on each subwoofer. Again, EQing, try to get it flat as possible to the room. For now, as far as I know, Onkyo still does not do discrete outputs on the subwoofer, so I don't know why they haven't jumped ship on it yet, but I mean, hopefully they will in the new processor that they have coming out. But there might be another Behringer on the way, or I'm gonna rip it out of the rack and possibly find another system. I'm thinking I'm probably gonna get 2 DBX drive racks. And I think we talked about this probably, I think in yesterday's video. RTA is one of my biggest things, and this thing does not have RTA on it. However, I think the other one does. The other one is, I believe, the 2496 Lite, I think it's what, or LE is what it's called. This one here, they've actually been making this, I think, for about over 20 years. So a lot of movie theaters in the past used to use this. Nowadays, they don't. So that's another pet peeve of mine is home theater processors that you can't bi-amp, tri-amp, quad-amp. You can't do any of that. You can bi-amp on the processors, but you can't truly bi-amp. And, well, you can. What I don't like is you can't actually set the main crossovers. Like, let's just say, like, my screen channel is a crossover at like 1.2K. You can't do that from the processor itself. You can't do any of that stuff. So that would definitely help eliminate having anything like this. So I would, honestly, I would give up my power amps on the side of the, on the inside of this receiver just for that. But eventually we will have another processor, even though that I know Anthem's coming out with theirs. That one's going to replace the Onkyo. The Onkyo, I'm not going to give it away. I did tell my brother at first I was going to let him go on ahead and take it, but I actually have plans for the Onkyo. Probably going to put it in the living room. If I end up buying another 7.2 receiver, then I'll go ahead and box it on up and ship it out to him. So far, it's been nice. AccuEQ honestly, to me, needs a lot of work for me to take them too serious. But I mean, I've had Onkyo for years. Um, I will say for the most part, I've not had any huge HDMI board issues. Only one is shot on this, so I'm gonna have it shipped in for warranty. If that's if it's even still able to be warranted. If not, it makes no big deal to me. It's only one HDMI out of the tens of thousands that they give you. So, any type of EQing that has to be done for my surround speakers has to go through the Onkyo, and that's because there is no EQ option on these amps. These are just strictly bare bone Class AB amplifiers, and if you step it up to like their bigger amplifiers, like the DCA 24, 22 and above, I believe those are Class H, but that doesn't mean output. Class H is strictly meaning input. It's how the way the amplifier gets its input or its power to the boards itself, which is awesome. I will be honest with you guys, I did have the PLD versions before. Actually, I don't have any videos. I did have photos though. And then you can still see the Onkyo, and then you can see the two QSEs at the bottom. To be honest with you guys, I wasn't too happy with those amps. That's because I heard hissing coming out of the speakers. Power is just not there like it is with the Class AB amps. And I did have a QSC PLX 3102. I sent it back because I didn't feel like paying $1,000 for an amplifier. And then number two, a lot of people were complaining that those didn't have the same power as Class D Behringer amplifier down there at the bottom. It's not a true 6,000 watt amp. It's bullshit. Don't fall for it for any reasons. But if you guys want to watch Big D Wiz actually put an iNuke 6000 on his his bench test, and he was able to whip out at least clean 4,000 watts out of this thing. So that's pretty sufficient for a room this size. That's plenty of power. And then just below that is another surge protector. That used to be up here, and then I got the Furman. The Furman came on in. It pretty much took its place. And the reason why I went with the Furman is because I like having these LCD displays. You know, show you the power that's being taken alive from any of the projector that's hooked up to it, the computer, which is right here. Eventually I'll be getting a rack mount PC. My brother and I are working together. He's going to get one and I'm going to get one. So we'll talk about that in a future video. I can see the power that the amplifiers are eating, which is nice. Anything that happens will be displayed right here, right on the screen. And also, this sucks. Without the lights, this sucks big time, because while we're, watching a video, I can come back here, pull one of these lights out, because I've been looking at trying to get some rack mountable lights, and the Furman does it all. Now, I was gonna get the one, like the cheaper one, but this thing was so pretty, it was calling my name. So really, I like the look of this. It looks fantastic. And if I run out of any plugs, all I have to do is just come down here. Another reason why I got rid of it, because this plug down here is actually shot. The prongs aren't strong on this one. Anything that you plug into it slides out, and plus it doesn't make good contacts. So that's taken out. I'm also working again with Loudspeakers Plus, because I know I told you guys, I don't like how the way it just sounds with the Eminence, the 314s with the Kappa Pros. To me, it doesn't sound all that good in a two-way configuration. It doesn't sound too terrible in this room, but it definitely needs a lot of work in here. So I was actually talking to one of my guys from Loudspeakers Plus, and Jay, he actually hooked me up with the deal on my second La Voce 18 that's behind that screen. So him and I are working together, joining forces to order my next 315s. I'm getting those exact same woofers. I love how the way those Eminence drivers sound, especially versus my other ones, but the other ones I'm probably going to use in the different projects. So we'll be having 315s, no, I'm sorry, 215s for the left, center, and right. So that'll be better balanced to match that compression driver. Mid-ranges, we're looking at either the Kappa 10 or I was looking at the La Voce mid-range, but the problem is them coming in from China the way that it does. Guys, I'm not waiting 90 days. I'm just not going to do it. I'm that impatient. I was looking at a better 10-inch mid-range, actually. It's from PRV. I used to own PRV mid-ranges before. I loved them, but I sold them off because PRV discontinued them. They didn't sell them anymore. So now I got to wait, I think, until June or July to get these mid-ranges in. So I'm thinking about doing one or two things, either ordering PRV's three-way crossover that they have. So it's 18 kilohertz on the compression drivers, down to 400 on the mid-range, and then you have the choice to do either 4 or 8 ohm woofers, and which is nice about their crossovers. You can select the brightness setting on the compression driver. They also have the, I don't know if it's breakup compensation. I forgot exactly what it is that they have, but we'll have to look at that once they get that in. Or, well, it's going to be either the three-way crossover, and what's going to happen is back at the QSCs, what I'll do is I'll bridge each one, and it'll still be the left, center, and right, but it'll be more power to the speakers, which is going to be awesome. Now, if I do that, I might end up ordering Behringer's 4-channel amplifier, and that amp will run my left, center, and right. Hopefully there's no crosstalk between channels. That's another issue that I noticed with the QSCs, is that if you put a subwoofer and it's running like super low frequencies, there would be a lot of crosstalk between channels. You can hear it pretty much bleeding into the other channels, and that's something I didn't like. So we're going to leave that out. It's either that or doing like the two-way crossovers from PRV, and it's still going to be the 1800 hertz one, and I'll put the mid-range and the compression drivers on that crossover, and the Behringer will still be in place. So pretty much what I'll do is I'll have it crossed over at 400 hertz down below for the 15s, but I honestly, something's telling me just spend the extra money, get the three-way crossovers, and that should definitely work out a lot better. And I'm either going to get QSC's cinema horns, like their high frequency waveguides and their 10-inch waveguides. So we're going to have to see how the way that goes. The problem is what I have with the QSCs, they're very expensive. Okay, it's like $166 alone for one high frequency waveguide. That's 3 of those that I need. Plus it's $288 for the 10-inch mid-ranges. So what I was doing was looking at Alibaba and found a company. They actually sell plenty of different waveguides. So they sell a 10-inch and a 1.4-inch exit. So they were saying, I think for all 3 mids and all 3 highs, the horns that I need, I think it's about like probably $700-800. Now the only thing is, it's going to take a little bit of time for those to get in here to Florida, because they gotta they're either gonna fly them in. Now, if I have those flown in, I think it's $1,200, but they'll be here within a couple weeks versus like a month, which I'll probably, wait that month. But I want to try to go on ahead and order those soon, order those now. And then, as time comes, we'll have the boxes get made. I still got my guy. He's trying to work on the stuff now, but I think he might be going through family issues, so we'll have to see. Because I don't have my own router. I don't know the place to go and get wood from to build these boxes, because these things are like 30 inches wide, and I believe about 35 or 40 inches tall for these cabinets that are going behind this screen. But it's going to be a lot better once we get that stuff in here. It's going to be a far better balanced sound. The only thing is, having horns and speakers that big, I don't know how well it's going to sound up in the front, but it should be pretty nice. It should be pretty damn good. If anything, I don't want to do it, but it'll help me actually build my credit up, is taking out a loan and going ahead and just getting Monoprice's processor, their 16 channel processor, and just getting familiar with DiRac, getting familiar with like a separate processor that'll go right in this rack, and it's been highly recommended. And ATI is the one who makes those. If you guys don't know, ATI actually now owns Datasat, and you go to any type of Regal Cinemas or like Cinemark and XD, they use DTS processors. I'm sorry, Datasat processors, and they're very, very, very highly recommended. So far, these QSE amplifiers are freaking incredible. I love how the way they sound. This is why I own these things. Go to AMC theaters, they use the hell out of these, and you plug them in, they just work every single time. I did have to take a couple of them apart. I probably still got to pull the bottom one out, because the pots on the inside, they start to get a little bit dirty. You spray a little WD-40 in there, or contact cleaner, clean it right out. And what you want to do is just rotate this back and forth for at least a good 10 seconds, and it'll clear right up. And that's what QSE potentiometers are just known for doing. But that's no big deal. Nobody's going to sit here and cry over that. I don't have to worry about that with the 8-channel amplifier. That one down there, I believe, was made in 2012. So that one's actually the newest one out of all three. The one there in the center, actually at the back of the amplifier, has cursive writing. I think that one was made in 2002. So I'm going to run that amplifier for a little while, but eventually I'm going to have to switch it out, because you don't want to keep running an amplifier, well, any type of piece of electronic, after so many years, because caps, resistors, all that stuff, they tend to just dry out, pop and smoke, or just fail. And we don't want that to happen. I damn sure don't want my speakers blowing out. Especially when you're paying for speakers as much as this shit's getting ready to cost, $3,000 behind the screen by itself, $4,000, whatever. So luckily, if I wanted to, I can actually step these models up. Let's just say, like, I want more power. All the circuit boards for these amplifiers are the exact same. The only thing that would change is either less or more components on the circuit board itself. Other than that, the body from the CX302, which is the baby, all the way up to the CX1102, which is their top end version of this amplifier, which is about 3,400 watts. These are 1,200. Now, if I do get that three-way crossover, I'll have that power. But this kind of room itself in this small size, I know I don't really need all that power. It's going to be crossover anyway, so no big deal. And it'll meet the power requirements for the capless, because those things are 600 watts a piece. So that'll be pretty fair. Now, the good thing is about switching out these, even though that, yeah, if I had the other Kappas, I'd still be doing the dual 15s for each channel. These will give me more bass, and I won't have to worry about running the subwoofers. I'll be able to just listen to these speakers here by themselves with the subwoofers completely disengaged. Now, I know that when we eventually get the new processor in, this room is actually big enough for either, if I do smaller surrounds, like the OSD audio, the AP A60s, even the 50s, I can probably get 4 of those speakers up there. No, I'm sorry, 8. Do 4, along this side, and then do another 4 here. I don't know how I'm going to do that. Something else I've been looking into, guys, is some tactile transducers for underneath the seats. So we got plenty of bass in this room. More than enough bass, more than enough punch. Actually, to the point where I do have the subwoofers rolled off at 60 hertz. That's just how I'll let them go. The screen channels can take it over, and the surrounds can take it over from there, because it gets too boomy in here. So it's a really smooth roll off. I don't need that much power coming from behind that screen, or those kind of frequencies coming through those subs. Actually, I was gonna drop it off at 40, but yeah, there's no way in hell that those little Beta 8s are gonna get down that low. Actually, those I'm gonna have to do a video, and we'll do that sometime in the near future, if I still have the original drivers. The original drivers, they were more than capable about to, I think, 45 or 40 hertz. After that was a dead drop off. So, and then something else that I thought about doing, now this is going to be for a later project. I'm not going to work on that now, because I just got these speakers in. What I thought about doing later on down the road is my guy that I'm talking to now to build my speakers for behind the screen. We're going to do 6 10-inch surround speakers. So I'm going to get, if I don't do Eminence, I'm probably going to do La Voce. And it's going to be a 1.75-inch compression driver. And probably with the, I don't know if I'm going to do the neodymium. I'm probably just going to save that money and just do ferrite. And possibly, I don't know, the 2500 hertz crossover. Maybe the 1800, who knows. And we're going to use those over here on the side. And we're going to do a pair here on this wall, a pair on the back. There's going to be a pair over there. Now, this is going to be in the future, and this is going to be for when we, eventually get this new processor coming in. That's another thought that I have. And then with these speakers that I have here, possibly use those up in the ceiling, because I'm not going to use a slanted enclosure up in the ceiling. These here are actually perfect, because you can rotate these speakers to any kind of position that you want them to be, and that's what those U brackets. It helps out. The Soundtowns, I bought them because they're really cheap. They sound really good for the money. For $300, maybe you guys want to spend your money on regular home theater speakers. You guys know me. I'm more of a pro audio guy. It's just the sound that I like, and that's why I own pro audio amplifiers. Plus, it's a lot cheaper. So if you know what you're doing, you can get these CX302s pretty damn cheap. I mean, $150, you can have one shipped to your front door, and they are made right here in the United States, right out in California. So That's pretty cool. But I have noticed just going into, these separate amplifiers, just a much better sound stage coming from all of my speakers. I don't notice a better sound, that I will say. If there is, maybe my ears can't pick it up. I can't say that about the front speakers though, and that's because the Onkyo can't drive those, right? I don't have a two-way crossover on those because those speakers are completely running active. So the signal feeds from RCA outputs that go from at the back of the Onkyo, which I know it's kind of dark back here. You can kind of see it. But yeah, this is 11 channels out coming from here down into the amplifiers. I also need to get the wires completely cleaned and straightened up. But I'm going to try to get with one of the guys on Facebook. Still got to order the UMIC one, either that or the Dayton Audio UMM6. I had that microphone before I sent it back. So I think the reason why I sent it back was because a lot of people were complaining that it wasn't a durable microphone. So more than likely what's going to happen is we'll get the UMIC one, and we'll have to get the second computer screen for back here, just so that we don't have to always fire the projector up. While I'm trying to calibrate the speakers, the projector can be off. But I think for presentation reasons, and I'm going to go through this step by step with you guys, because I'm only learning this stuff and I'm having fun with it. So this is pretty much a journey for anybody, and plus it's inspiration. So definitely want to have fun here in this room. We watched Star Wars in here yesterday, and I do like how the way these speakers sound a lot better, I will say, behind that screen with vocals. But I can imagine what it sounded like, just when the second 15 gets here and the mid ranges, and they get behind their proper wave guides. I'm gonna show you guys the ones that we're looking at. I'll probably do that in another video sometime in the future. But before the end of the year, there will be 6 horns behind that screen and the dual 15 cabs. The subwoofers are going to stay in their boxes for right now, just because I already spent the money on getting the first one built, and then the second one, and plus, hopefully you guys can see this too, I don't have any room for any type of big boxes, because I was looking at the GSG audio boxes. They're not going to fit back behind this screen. And they're not going to fit because I'm worried about screen size more than what the hell is going to fit behind here. So that's why, I probably have like a good 20 inches maybe to work with behind this screen. I can move it a little bit forward, but again, I'm not trying to really back down on the size image that I'm getting. And this sheet is completely being filled from end to end. So something else I thought about doing was going ahead and just untacking it from the wall and untacking it from the ceiling. And what I want to do is get some more bracing in. And what's going to happen is the screen itself is actually going to come out to about here to where the switches start. The switches won't be covered up, and I'll explain this. So the screen's going to come out here. There's going to be black fleece here on this side, and then on the other side will be black fleece coming down the wall, so it'll look much better. Also, I'm gonna have to talk to Joanne's, because I want to see if I want to redo this thing here, and this is gonna be my 3rd time now redoing the screen, actually 2nd. So what's gonna happen is I just want to see if I can get some of this fabric that's tall enough to go from the very top all the way down to the bottom without having this line here. It's not very noticeable until something white hits it. Also with this board, you guys can see it right here. So what I'm going to have to do with this is I'm going to have to either more than likely just spray paint it black. I thought about putting some black fleece or just something black on the front of this wood, because when the projector hits it, anything that hits it, just it looks too washed out. So once something black gets behind it, it'll definitely help out on that. But I gotta say, with these new Eminence compression drivers, you guys, I'm very, very, very impressed with these things. They sound awesome. They look awesome. These things are just fantastic. Eminence, keep up everything that you guys are doing. I'm telling y'all. Because at first, I'll be honest with you guys, I wasn't a huge Eminence fan. Damn sure I wasn't a fan of their subwoofers, but until they started doing this tour grade stuff with their new subwoofers, if I didn't buy the La Voce, I would have bought the new Eminence drivers, and I would have bought the neodymium ones, but I already had this La Voce, and it just sounded fantastic. I had to have a second one. I am definitely in love with those subwoofers. They are awesome, awesome subs to have in your theater room. If you're looking for like a pretty decent box, go with the guys from GSG Audio. They got some stuff, and then DIY Sound Group, it looks like they have a new cabinet that's ported at 18 hertz. I was going to say Hortz. That's the wrong thing to say. It has 3 ports on the front. That thing looks freaking awesome. I don't think they do anything with La Voce. I know that they do Eminence. And actually, if you guys look back here again, these are actually the cabinets for the Titans, the 615s. In here are supposed to be the Eminence. Those are they're the Neo version of these drivers. Shit, I can't think about them. The Kappa, the 3015s is what they are. And they have just a little bit more excursion than these woofers have. They actually have a steeper roll off than these, so I think that those cut off around 1200 hertz. These are about 15. Definitely a lot lighter, but I'm not a single 15 guy. I've never have been. I've always liked the sound of dual 15s. It just sounds better. Shit, I even thought about doing 415s, but there's no way I can't get that behind the screen. If the screen was longer, I can stand the 2 cabinets up side by side, but you guys already see the kind of space that I'm working with, and there's just no way, because when the new boxes get in here, there's going to be very little play behind the screen. Actually, when the new speakers come in, I'm going to have to take the screen down anyway, so later on down the road, I might be able to get it out of the corner, because to me, that just looks a little funky over there. So I really do want to move this over quite a bit and get it off the wall. Or, maybe I just might leave it, because the couches are all up against the wall. This was not how the way this layout was going to be. That back couch was going to be up on a riser, and that love seat was actually sitting right here. Then I got the clever idea. I was like, you know what? Let me just slide this over and see how big this room is. Sure enough, guys, it works out great. Got a table there in the center. I don't know if I'm going to leave that table there. I might, though, just for anybody that brings in food, drinks. It's helpful. I even thought about putting trash cans right in the center, but I can put trash can down at the bottom, so we'll bring in the other table. We're going to do the same thing, table here, trash can here, and then the other seat is going to go actually a little bit further back. So it's going to be the second love seat, table with the trash can. It's going to be the sofa here. And then, again, we're still going to have bed risers. We're going to raise this up. So those are going to be 8 inches up off the ground. If I feel that it's too tall, because I am a pretty tall person, I can just walk up and just sit down. Somebody that's shorter, I might have to put, maybe maybe a riser in here and just run it all the way down. So, we'll have to see. As far as couches go, I'm just buying some BS couches. Anybody that's selling any off Facebook Marketplace, or even free couches. Yeah, I don't really care. For the time being, it's fine. I because later on down the road, I'm gonna give it some years. I do plan on getting proper seating. I want to get some actual recliners in here, and if we get them from Valencia, we get them from them, or if we get them from Force Seating or Theater Store, one of those two, I want to get those. Definitely want to keep adding some LED strips, because these things are freaking fantastic. They are awesome. I actually use those more than I use the regular lights itself. Now, if this was my home, I would have pulled that chandelier out. I can still technically take it down. That's no big deal. That's fine. But I'm gonna leave it alone because it's not my house. So I want to get some more LED strips. It's gonna go down this way. It's gonna stop about there. And we're gonna do another one. We're gonna go across right over here on this side. I would run it all the way across, but I don't want to do that because, again, when the projector's on, it washes this thing out. And then I still have to wait. I'll probably end up calling them tomorrow, guys, because I'm trying to work with Carl's place for a screen. So we're looking at a mini perf gray screen for this room. So we're looking at, I'm gonna have to have them customize it because all they have, like the biggest size that they have is 176 inches. So again, I'm not giving my size up. Because I know that they have the equipment that it takes to get the screen size that we need, get everything that needs to happen. So once we do that, this whole thing is coming down. I'm gonna give it to Alexis, and she wants to continue, making masks out of this shit. She can do whatever she wants. I don't care. But so far, this is, what we have for a screen. This is pretty much it. And we'll try to see if I can get them to do it with eyeball hooks with their material. And, we'll see about building out a frame for it. So I would still like to do a curved screen in here. It just, to me, it would look badass. Having some black curtains here on the side. On the other side, it's same thing, black curtains with the curved screen. Now, I completely defeated my purpose somewhat to an extent. And the idea was to have walking space behind the screen. God forbid if a compressor driver or woofer blows out, or if I just want to get behind there and just change something or do something with these, I can do it. Well, the only way for me to do it is I have to crawl up underneath the screen. So that's kind of a pain in the ass. But now there's one issue that I have, and I've noticed the Kappa down there at the other end. I don't know if it's the acoustics of the room. I didn't notice it with my other 15s, and I think it's just that one. I don't know how the way they fucked this one up, but I did notice that the polarity is completely reversed from the other 15s, and I know that it is because I can stand right at the front of the screen. You guys see how big my distance is from this speaker, the subwoofer. So if I stand in front of this subwoofer between these two speakers with the center and my right speaker playing, sounds just fine. Go to the opposite subwoofer and stand there in between, and the bass just, you can tell it's fighting each other. So I went ahead, took the bottom half of the screen down, had to get behind there, check the wires running into the back of the cabinet. Positive is positive, negative is negative. Ran to the amplifier, checked the amplifier. It's plugged up just fine. I even checked my Behringer to make sure that the polarity wasn't reversed on it. It was normal. So I went on ahead and pulled the driver out of the cabinet. Again, positive, positive, negative, negative. So I don't know how they managed to screw that shit up, but Eminence, you guys are going to have to fix that one. It's a lot of money to be paying for these, because I remember these things used to be only $150. They went up $30 now. It's the same thing with the Beta 8s. Those used to be, I think, like $40 or $30 drivers. Now they went up a lot. So I still have my Kappas down in here, and I've not noticed that with these Kappa 15s, because these are the exact same boxes, just different drivers. I've not noticed it before. So, something I probably should do is going ahead and just switch out. Again, I don't have a lot of room behind here, but take that speaker that's down there at the end that I've noticed the reverse polarity, and put the center channel speaker down over there and just play around with it and see if I notice something. Because if that's the case, maybe it's not the driver, it could be something else. But I've sent the email out to Eminence. They did not even get back to me. I sent it out yesterday. I called American Musical Supply because that's where these speakers came from. They said, well, after you already open up the speaker, you have to send it in to Eminence, because once the speaker's open, you can't do any returns or exchanges. I'm not returning these things. These things are stuck with me for a while. Either that or until I get bored with them, because that's pretty much what's happened to these. Because actually, I just paid these off from American Musical Supply, and I was going to order these before, but I just wanted them to match the other ones that I had. But I was like, yeah, I wanted to hold on to them, because I didn't know maybe if I had different plans with them or if I was going to keep them for a while. But sure enough, I found myself ordering these, and I love the sound of these things, guys. When the bass hits on these, it's incredible. So I see why Cinema Speakers, companies like QSC and Klipsch use these. So I want to have fun with this stuff, and it's also a learning curve for you guys. Also, gimbal update for the phone, so that way it's not doing this crap. We're gonna get that in June, so we may not have a lot of time though to make a lot of videos, just because I think June we should be getting back to work at Disney World, so that'll be happening. I know that we're not going to be super busy, so and then something else I'm actually looking at doing for a project is somebody's selling a pair of 8-inch LaVoce speakers, and that's actually the ones I was going to put in here in these speakers and just do all LaVoce, since I really, really like them. I've not heard their 10-inch. I've never heard any mid-ranges from them or compression drivers, but they've been extremely, just highly recommended. So I want to get those in and, possibly find a good project for those. These, as far as I know, guys, these are going to be up for sale. I thought about keeping probably a pair of my Eminence 15s and a pair of these compression drivers here, these B&T copies. But I don't think I can really do anything with them at this point. So I think I'm just going to sell them, just get rid of them. So, because I wanted to have, some speakers in the bedroom for music. So if I order something else, then, that's fine too. I was at least going to keep a pair of stock speakers for what I had back here, these Soundtown Soundtown cabinets. And what I was going to do is send these out to my guy that's making these boxes here. And what I was going to do is talk to him about making me some slanted boxes. And what I would end up doing is just ordering crossovers and then ordering the actual drivers that I would want, so that way I can actually have some proper slanted boxes. Other than that, what's here in my home theater is just fine. The stock crossovers in these Soundtown speakers, they have got to go. They really need to go. So, because I want to get, Eminence has ones that's actually designed for the Beta 8 and the ASD 1001s that's designed to work with those speakers specifically, and it's a 2500 hertz two-way crossover. The one that's in these is, I believe, 3000. So that'll definitely help out. I don't know how high these Beta 8s can play down or play up to, but I really, really, really love how the way these things sound. These, believe it or not, Klipsch actually uses these in their cinema surrounds that they have. It's like a pair of compression drivers that shoot off on each side, and they use one of these Beta 8s. And in the box that they put it in, plays down to about 47 hertz, which I don't see how the way they're getting that at minus 10 dB, which is crazy because they don't look like anything that would play that deep. But not that I would play them that deep anyway. But I like how the way they sound, but guys, they should get a lot better, once they start to break in. But the thing is, the amplifier that they're on is hardly going to even do anything for them. So they're receiving about 100 watts. So that's more than plenty for this room, especially for, a 96, 97 dB surround speaker that I got up here. Something else that's going to come in June as well. These brackets that I have, these L brackets, are going to come off the wall. As far as you guys can see, it's still semi-slanted, but I'm not getting what my surround backs are getting. And then what we're going to have to do is, because the couches are up against the wall, I don't know how well you can hear that speaker from sitting at that couch. So my only guess that I can do is, as you guys can see, there's 4 levels of doing this, okay? 4 down here, 4 up at the top. So up at the top, I have the first screw sitting here. Down here, I have this set to about level 3. I still have a little bit of room back here, so I can scooch it off the 4th one. The problem is I'm gonna have to make this hole a little bit bigger, and I'll be able to go on ahead and screw that in. So that'll get these slanted even more, which is going to be perfect because my back couches are down this little bit closer to the wall, just not as close as they were before, which is nice. So I'm gonna have to push that one off the wall just a little bit, because the problem is, guys, is you're sitting up on these speakers, you're never going to hear them, so they become pretty much useless. This room is just too damn big, and I want to try to fill it up as much as possible and try to do things as clean, as organized as I can. Again, we don't own this home, but God forbid in the future we just say, damn it, we want the house. We can do that. And who knows, possibly buy 2 houses, rent this one out, make some extra money. But in the meantime, this is what we have. This is what we're going to work with. And I didn't even think I was going to even touch this wall. What I wanted to do was just find like a temporary wall and just wall it off and then bring that surround a little bit closer into here. But I'm actually loving how the way this is, because I got more space. There's more room to do stuff. I even thought about putting in another row of seats, possibly 3 rows, because we have the space to do it. But I really don't want to, just because the projector, how the way it is, and the screen being, just here, that's going to be too big for anybody that's sitting here. So at least back here, it'll be more ideal. So we'll just match it up with the ending of this wall. We'll put it right here, because I don't want somebody getting sick because, hell, we're watching movies with a lot of motion in it. And the projector that I have, that Vivitech, does okay with motion. However, I don't think it's as good as the HK2288, because I think the HK2299, that one is the only one that came in black. I believe that projector has better motion, a better processor than what's in this one. But you know what? I'm pretty damn happy with this projector. Even though, it's lens capability is kind of limited. But who knows? That'll be possibly improved, with the new projector. They did drop a new home theater projector. It looks like shit to me. I don't like how the way it looks at all. I think they're actually taking a step backwards, and they need to be going forward. Also, home theater manufacturers, listen, if my videos ever get that popular, just listen. We need 2 versions of these projectors, okay? We need white and we need black. Really, we don't need white. I don't know who the hell wants a white projector in their home theater. Black just looks a lot better. But that could be off to anybody's personal preference. I believe in having a room blacked out. I like having a dark space. It just seems proper to me. But having even like this white screen here, the projector, I know it really just, it doesn't like it. So that's where the gray screen comes into play. So I definitely, guys, I cannot wait until we can order that. So, because I know a lot of you guys have been, following along and trying to see everything that's going on with this room, because you guys are interested in the speakers, subwoofers, the projector, the sound equipment. So in June, I plan on getting a shelf. If I don't do a shelf, then we'll do the projector in the rack somewhere. But I've been online looking at like 8-foot tall racks. As I said before, I don't mind buying used equipment, right? Money saved. So what I've been hoping to do is get back to Sam Ash, because they have a couple of 8-foot tall racks. And I already talked to one of the guys a couple of years ago, and he was like, man, you can name your price and just take it. Problem is I drive a sedan. There's no way in hell I'm going to fit a huge 8-foot tall rack in the back of my car. It's not going to happen. So what I might end up doing is stopping by Sam Ash and talking to him about getting that, pay them whatever I want to pay. And I'm going to have to get a truck. And this is what's going to happen is, while he's working on getting that, and we'll figure out, price on the boxes that he wants to sell those to me. And if I feel like I should do it, I'm going to do it regardless. We're going to have to get a moving truck. So thing is guys, I live in Davenport, and he's like in Daytona Beach area. So we're going to have to get a moving truck, go and pick up the speaker boxes. And as we're doing that, stop by Sam Ash and then pick up that 8-foot tall rack, bring it on home and get it installed. Again, what's going to happen is, actually, I want to move this table out of the way, because I have to have this sofa here can't be up against the wall. Actually, I remembered, because I have to be able to get back here, get to the Blu-ray player, and do it like this, because shit, we're pretty much the main people at Disney right now that actually has a home theater. And we're going to be inviting people over to the house. There's going to be a lot of people here, guys. I don't want to have to reach across somebody to get to my Blu-ray player. That's just very unnecessary. So we're going to have to slide this couch off. And what I can do is, move the table elsewhere. It's going to have to go. It can't sit there. So, I'll have access to the Blu-ray player, get there, and it'll be about 10 seats total out. And if this room gets super filled, because a lot of people that we work with, a lot of Disney lovers, we're going to show a lot of Disney films. Once this stuff gets cleared out, I know it's messy in here. We're going to get it cleaned up, I promise. We can add, just some tempo chairs and have them up against the wall, and they'll still be able to watch, the movies. We're going to have them up to about here. So you can probably fit and squeeze about 20 people in here. So yeah, guys, this room here is going to be entertaining a shitload of people, especially anybody that wants to come in here and play their games on the projector. Another thing I love about this, with the Onkyo, just pull the flap down and you're greeted with a HDMI port sitting right there. So that's pretty cool. I've also I know Sony Blu-ray players have, Bluetooth on their Blu-ray player. So God forbid we get somebody that's over here that's hard of hearing, that needs a listening device. That's something else I'm starting to take into consideration too. So what's cool is with Sony Blu-ray players, I don't know if Panasonic does it. I'm only leaning towards Panasonic, though hopefully they have it. But Sony has a feature where you can simultaneously use Bluetooth and you'll stream it to a Bluetooth speaker or earphones. I don't know if it's able to do more than one Bluetooth device or if it's just one, but it'll play through HDMI and Bluetooth at the same damn time. So I think that's pretty cool. But so far, I'm leaning towards the UB820 Blu-ray player, primarily because of the HDR optimizer that's on that thing. Plus, I heard audio is pretty much unparalleled to any Blu-ray player that's even out there. I'm not going to buy the UB9000. I mean, come on, guys. I don't own a JVC projector, and I don't really see that big of a difference between the A20 and the UB9000. And that's $10,000, or I'm sorry, that's $1,000. I'm not going to pay for a 4K Blu-ray player. So eventually we'll have like another rack for all 4K movies, because I'm just going to start buying those from now on. But yeah, guys, hopefully this helps you guys out a little bit more in explaining what's going on. Another thing that we actually started to get into is Plex. So I still plan on getting the UB 820 and still looking at an NVIDIA Shield, because I don't think Panasonic Blu-ray players have Plex on them. If they do, then I can skip out on the NVIDIA Shield. So, but for the time being, the room is fine how the way it is. It's just fine. So I'm gonna have to get like another Google Home speaker, like a little Google Nest or something. Put it in this room. Each room is actually gonna have like a little Home Mini is actually what it's called. So for right now, guys, again, just want to play around in here. What we have is what we have, and we're gonna enjoy it. That second subwoofer really added the punch that we need, but also definitely helped out balance sub bass in this room. However, it's not perfect. So I'm gonna have to talk to Michael and see who he talked to about in his home theater, because he needed like I think a 12 millisecond delay on his subs. But once we have that delay, it should definitely help out in this room. But over time, whatever I buy, guys, I'm just gonna let you guys know straight out. Also, Logitech, I still want to send this remote back, and I'm still looking at getting the Harmony Elite, because they have the smart home features, with the it has smart lights and the smart plug. So that way all I have to do is just hit the smart plug button. The amplifiers will come on. Those are still going to get put on smart plugs regardless. And then the lights, turn the lights on, because at the end of each movie, I'm always having to catch myself, either doing like the Google Assistant feature, which I'm not going to say because it's going to set y'all's off, or shit, I just lost my train of thought. Or having to grab my phone and constantly manually turn these lights on, especially when the speakers are loud. There's no way in hell that the speakers or that the Google Assistant is going to help me out. It's not going to hear me at all. So having that Elite remote will definitely be beneficial for this room for sure. So that's another work in progress. Other than that, I love this remote here, but that's just one of my things, biggest things right there. This one actually came with the flaw. For some reason, this button down here at the bottom was sticking out. You guys can actually see the light seeping through at the bottom. So the remote just literally came like that, just exactly like this. Look at that, the button's back out again. So other than that, I know Logitech is not about perfection. They'll never be perfect. Now, what I don't like, guys, I'm just going to say this straight out. I don't like how these buttons up here are not backlit, nor that they make these backlit. I don't remember on the 650 if they were backlit. I seriously doubt that they would be if the newer remote is not even backlit. It's just the bottoms down here, the buttons down here at the bottom that are backlit. Just anything from the bottom of the screen down is what's backlit. But this thing, so far, I've not had any issues with it. My last remote, day 2, I was pretty much throwing the damn thing up against the wall because it was just I don't know, Logitech just cannot get with it at all. But yeah, I do plan on buying that remote. It's going to have the hub with it and a couple of IR blasters. So the first IR blaster is going to have to go right here on the projector. You guys can see just to the right of the lens on that Vivitech. That's an IR sensor there, and you also have one in the back. I might actually put it back there in the back. And then the other one's going to go on the receiver. And this is another reason why, guys, why I need to get a taller rack, is because the only place where this Blu-ray player can go is down here at the bottom. I'm not reaching down there to pop in a disc. I'm not going to do that. Not only that, we're also looking at getting a rack mount PC, and that's going to be too much of a pain because with at least the 8-foot tall rack at the very top of it, would be a little monitor with HDMI. I can look back there and see what's going on. So I'm thinking about doing 2 monitors, guys, actually. So what's going to happen is, so inside the rack, like as I said before, right? So it's going to have a monitor there. That's going to be for the second HDMI output on the graphics card on the new PC. And the other monitor output is going to go from the sub out for the HDMI on the back of the Onkyo. And then what's going to happen is I'm going to build a post. And that post, it's going to have just a 1080p 24-inch monitor, or 27-inch, or whatever I want to do. And I can literally just grab the post and move the monitor anywhere. So I'm going to have at least like a good 20-foot, maybe 30-foot HDMI. I'm not going to do a 4K monitor. To me, that's stupid. Especially anything that size, you're not going to be able to tell that much of a difference between 4K or 1080p. So, and that'll be, so the way if I'm sitting here, or if I want to grab that post, with the monitor and move it here, if I'm doing any type of calibration or any kind of work, or, if I need to make any adjustments because I'm trying to listen to the, speakers and try to balance the shit out as much as possible, having a mobile monitor like that would definitely work. So it's a lot of ideas, but again, a lot of money just getting thrown down. It's going to have to happen over time. So we're not rich, and obviously if we were, I wouldn't be living here, and my house would have a home theater in it. Guys, I'm crazy enough to the point where if I had it my way and I really want a home theater, I always go wall to wall. All of my home theater rooms have always been wall to wall. And I would do as large as 300 inches because, guys, size matters, and so does your sound. But as I said before, if I'm paying for this wall, I want the whole damn wall for an image. And we've not gotten motion sickness or anything, especially sitting this far back from the screen. But I'm kind of curious okay, so we're fine back there, is moving up a little bit closer. And the reason why I'm worried about that is, again, we're going to have people over here. We're going to be entertaining people, especially like she has her mom and her family. They're getting ready to come down here in August for her birthday. We're getting ready to throw her a party. There's going to be a lot of people in this room. And I don't want to have to rush somebody to the hospital or, have somebody throwing up right here on the floor because of motion sickness. So, that's going to be another test. We're going to wait, though, until we get the other couches. That's another reason why I need the moving trucks. We're going to have to, that's actually, I just reminded myself. So the the rack itself, speaker cabinets, and the couches are going to be bought all of that same day. So, but at the same time, guys, I might not get motion sickness just from this projector, because you guys have to think about it. For the past, since 2017, I've been working at the theme parks. Even though, I lived with projectors my whole entire life, just about. But, I mean, just, doing stuff like Soarin', where you have like a screen completely in front of you. If you guys know Disney and Universal, they're all about having projectors. So coming home to this is like going to a theme park or anywhere else. There's projectors everywhere. So I might be immune or used to it, whatever. You guys get the picture. So maybe hopefully we can get some recliners. So if I did find somebody that was selling the love seat and the sofa, that reclined, then what's going to happen is these green ugly couches are actually going to come up a little bit closer. So those are going to take the first row, and then we're going to put the reclining stuff in the back. So even though, these are not the most attractive couches, they are definitely comfortable. And they get the job done for us. So, alright guys, so I've been rambling on for an hour. And as always, guys, we'll see y'all in the next one.